Greetings, my scattered sisters and brothers in the Lord. Trust you know the Lord is with you wherever you find yourself scattered today, and that you know that His presence with you is more than enough for whatever you might face today. We are continuing on with the story of Elijah, and you know that Elijah has gone before King Ahab, and Ahab has married Jezebel, the daughter of the king of Sidon, and Jezebel and her father, they worship Baal. They believe that Baal is the one who brings about rain, and because of rain, there's life. And Ahab has begun to worship Baal. And so Elijah has gone to Ahab and has given him this message, that as surely as the Lord, the God of Israel, lives, before whom I stand, before whom Elijah stands, there will be neither dew nor rain in these next few years except at the word of Elijah, except at the word of the Lord through Elijah. Now, no doubt Ahab was not pleased to hear this message, and the drought was on. Well, the Lord comes to Elijah and gives a message to Elijah. And this is found in 1 Kings chapter 17. It's verse 2, and I'll go ahead and read it. 17:2 through 6 of 1 Kings. Then the word of the Lord came to Elijah, "Leave here, turn eastward and hide in the Carrot Ravine east of the Jordan. You will drink from the brook, and I have directed the ravens to supply you with food there." So Elijah did what the Lord had told him. He went to the Carrot Ravine east of the Jordan and stayed there. The ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning and bread and meat in the evening, and he drank from the brook. Now, this is pretty interesting. The Carrot Ravine is east of the Jordan. It's a wilderness area. I did a little research on it. Nobody knows exactly where it's at, except that it's wilderness east of the Jordan, away from Samaria, the capital city of Israel, where Ahab had his throne, his palace. And so it's like he's been banished, if you will, exiled, if you will. He leaves kind of civilization and he goes to the wilderness, to the Carrot Ravine. Now, the word carrot, I also found, means to cut or cutting. And so we can think of how a river has kind of cut through the side of a hill, and you have a ravine now. And so this cutting. But some say that there's not only kind of the descriptive language of this place, but that the name itself is significant because there is a cutting that is going on. That in a sense, Ahab has cut off Elijah, that he's had to leave because of the word that he spoke against Ahab. And then others would even go so far as to say that there's another cutting that's going on, that the Lord is going to cut off rain from Ahab, and kind of cutting off Ahab and Israel until they will learn that the Lord is the one who actually provides for them. And so Elijah ends up in the wilderness, kind of cut off, because he's announced this cut off to Ahab. And Ahab is going to have to learn that it's the Lord who gives rain. And so you can kind of see the cutting off that's going on, and the result of all of the cutting off is that Elijah is in the wilderness. But the Lord says, I'm going to take care of you there, that I have ravens who will come and bring you meat and bread in the morning and meat and bread in the evening. Now, this is really unusual. Ravens were considered unclean birds in the Old Testament. They were known as kind of scavengers, vulture-like, if you will, and that they didn't really even care for their own young. That wherever they found, dead carcasses, they would eat it. We might think of them as seagulls today in terms of where we live and how the seagulls just are after all the trash, all the food, etc. Or you can think of vultures. But ravens were unclean birds who were really only interested in their own survival. And yet the Lord says, I have ravens who are going to take care of you. They may not take care of their young, they may not take care of anyone else, but they're going to take care of you. And instead of devouring whatever they find, they're actually going to bring you meat and bread morning and evening. And you're going to be eating better than the prophets of Baal at King Ahab's table. And so Elijah obeyed. He went to the Carrot Ravine. The brook was active. He was able to drink. The ravens were bringing him, bread and meat morning and evening. And the Lord took care of him there. It was for a time. We're going to see that the Lord has him move on, but for a time, this is how the Lord took care of him. Now, what do we do with all this? What's the word for us in all of this? Well, it's fascinating that Elijah was cut off because he announced this word of cutting off, this word that there'd be no rain. Sometimes that happens to us. Sometimes we find ourselves scattered in kind of wilderness places because we've been faithful to the Lord and that we have not gone along with the worship of the gods of our age. We have not gone along with the worship of the gods that quote unquote promise life in our age. And so we're kind of cut off in the wilderness. People want nothing to do with us, especially if we've kind of spoken some truth to them that they're worshiping dead gods. And so he's cut off, and the Lord is going to cut off those who are worshiping the false gods. But in the midst of Elijah's kind of wilderness cut off, the Lord is there, and the Lord takes care of him. And the Lord takes care of him in the most unexpected ways with ravens. And so wherever you find yourself scattered today, maybe whatever wilderness you find yourself in because you've been cut off, realize that the Lord is there, and realize that the Lord will take care of you, just as he took care of Elijah. And also realize it might just be in some very unexpected ways. The Lord might have some ravens, some people that we would normally write off as just being self-centered and interested in their own survival. The Lord might just use them to help care for you. So wherever you find yourself scattered today, whatever wilderness you might find yourself in, don't be surprised if somehow the Lord touches the heart of a raven and the Lord takes care of you through that raven. Might only be for a season, but in this season, the Lord is with you and the Lord will provide. Don't worry about being cut off into the wilderness. The Lord's with you, the Lord has you, and the Lord knows how to talk to ravens and move them to show you compassion. God bless. Have a great day, and watch for ravens.